The 2021 Endurance E-Racing World Championship Round 2, Film Volt 12 Hours of Silverstone, is brought to you in partnership with ESTV, Leak Gaming, SimLab, Motorvision.tv, Global Flix, Racing for Green, and AMD Ryzen Radeon.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk to some drivers and some team bosses after what has been, Yusuf, a fantastic second round of the Endurance E-Racing World Championship here on GTR 24H. The Film Vault 12 Hours, and I think we've actually got a class winner in the interview booth at the moment. I think let's bring that driver in. I think that is Nikolai Bezrukov from Unison Sim Racing. Let's have a chat with him. So Nikolai, congratulations first of all to the Unison Sim Racing crew, a second victory after Indianapolis. How are you all feeling at the team right now?
Thanks for your congratulations, and you said that it was the second victory in a row, but in fact these victories are absolutely different, and when in Indianapolis car was absolutely terrible, we didn't have a good setup, and the result was just the luck, but today we had a good pace, and maybe we made a bit more mistakes when in Indianapolis, but our pace can give us a win.
No, indeed. But yes, you say for two very different victories. Obviously, the misfortune of Mugen Sim Racing last time out in Indianapolis gave you guys the victory, but obviously when the rain surfaced here at Silverstone, what was the first thought of the team when that started happening? Was it something that you guys were like thinking, well, we might have a chance here?
Oh, in fact, yes, because we could make some fuel consumption through first scenes, and when the rain started, we had some fuel in our tank, and we had no idea what tires we should use for the next stint, and this time we made a mistake. We chose the soft one, and 2 or 3 laps later, rain increased, and when we just spent a lot of time to another pit stop, so before the rain, we thought that race was under control, and we can win without any problems. But rain gave us some, I think, some goosebumps.
And also it gave you some hope as well. So Nikolai Bezrukov from Unison Racing, congratulations for tonight. We look forward to seeing you guys back in action at Sebring in 4 weeks' time. So a big thank you to Nikolai Bezrukov there from the class winners in GT3, the 717 Unison Racing crew. So I think now, without further ado, we're going to now head to our GTE class winners. We're going to now have Marco Mazzetti, but I understand that Tiziano Brioni will be providing some translation. So Yusuf, this one is all yours, my friend.
Yeah, Marco Tiziano, thank you very much for joining me. So, Marco, first question really is, what's the feeling like being able to take your first win here in EEWC?
Ha detto qual è il feeling con la tua prima vittoria nelle VC, diciamo, da protagonista? Ma è stata una bella emozione, il merito è anche di Giuseppe De Fuoco che ha fatto la maggior parte del lavoro, però è una bella emozione, dai.
He said that was an amazing feeling, and he want to thank Giuseppe because he have done the biggest part of the work, and so it's an amazing feeling for him, and he will look after to be ready for the next races.
The second question is, of course, with Muscle you have two teams in the GTE class, so I'm sure there's going to be a part of you that feels bad for the 54 car, but you showed incredible pace nonetheless, and for next race at Sebring, do you think you can bring home the 1-2, and if you do you think you can be the ones on top again?
I think that the 54 crash of the game was lucky for us, bad luck for them, but so that's our races. We could do an easy 1-2, but there was this problem, and so we hope that in next races we will ready as this and do performances good as this race that was really hard and with a lot of changes during the hours, and so I have seen the battle for the second position in GT on the last three laps, and is a strong example of this race, so that's my point of view.
No. Grazie un'altra volta ragazzi, in bocca al lupo per Sebring.
Grazie.
Ciao.
You just had to.
I have to. I'm half Italian. It's the only time I get to practice some Italian. Oh,
Mate,
okay. All I said was good luck for Sebring, right?
Indeed. Yeah, it's. I mean, really good to hear from the both as well. Fantastic job by the Musto GDE Sports Cars crew in the 53. But yeah, Yusuf getting in there, my friend. Well done. Great job there, mate. Right at the very end. We're now going to bring in another driver. This time, we're going to bring Luca Grey in from Juice's Motorsport. Luca, well, congratulations to you guys. I mean, that was an absolutely fantastic effort from the entire team after it was a difficult race. Now, I understand a certain little person by the name of Nick Newcomb told me that you've helped out with the setup of this car. Am I correct in saying?
I'm going to be honest. I had no part in doing the setup. It was Nick and Tay, and they did an amazing job.
Now, what was because we saw Turn and also Joao Barbosa battling away with Chris Gonzalez. Joao got the upper hand, but then when Nick told me that Chris had not taken on new tyres, this was a golden opportunity for you guys to steal P2 and Turn Lower just did the absolute best job possible, and Chris Gonzalez tried to close but couldn't get close enough at the end of it, and it wasn't much in it at the end, was it?
No, we were really... I'm lost for words, to be honest. We really weren't expecting to be that quick.
Yeah, I know. What's the thoughts ahead of Sebring in 4 weeks' time? I mean, obviously, we've had two very different races for you guys at Juice's Motorsport in the 15 LMP2. This is going to give you guys a bit of confidence going into Sebring, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll definitely go for another podium. Maybe a win. Root for that.
Well, fingers crossed for you guys. Obviously, it just goes to show that teamwork does make the dream work, as they say. But Luca, congratulations to you all at Juices and good luck for Sebring in 4 weeks.
Thank you.
Okay, a big thank you to Luca Grey there from Juices Motorsport, the runners-up in LMP2. Right, now, someone has made sure that they've kept their promise. Yusuf, who have we got now?
I believe we have Matthias Blom coming in the number 13 car. Matthias, you guys managed to pull through a fairly good race. I mean, just talk us through the race, really, and break it down for us.
We had a very good first 9 hours. So we had a rough start and a bit of a travel, down, it's not gonna be a good race. And then the rain came. It was like we knew we were very fast in the rain, and then it's like we didn't know we were that fast. So the whole thing just came back, and then we had the incident where a driver's game crashed. So it was very unfortunately and put us way down again. It was like a very, very heartbreaking moment for a team.
Yeah, and I mean, can you just remind us actually where you finished? Because honestly, there was so much stuff in the final few laps that I've kind of forgotten everything apart from what happened in GTE.
To be honest, I don't remember. I think it was 5th or 6th or something. It was like I was driving the last 2 hours. It was the longest hours I've ever driven. It was like, we're just gonna finish, man. We don't even want to drive fast. Just finish the race and get it over with and start for practice on Sebring.
Well, I mean, you managed to pick up the P2 last time out and then the P5 here. I think we've kind of seen how close the GT3 class is, and do you think that you can take up the challenge to the likes of Unison and Mugen Sim Racing over the remainder of the season?
Yeah, I think we have a chance because my strongest tracks haven't even been there yet. So it's looking very good. It's the first 2 races are we know the tracks, but we are not the fastest at them. So, but faster tracks are coming. Tracks are coming where we see ourselves a lot faster. So we should be able to contend for the win.
Okay, well, Matthias, thank you very much for joining in. We look to see you and the rest of the team in fine form for Sebring next month.
Thank you.
Alex, I believe you have Callum Wilson from Glam Racing next.
Yes, so the 404 from Glam Racing. Callum, again, it's been a very, very difficult season so far for you guys at Glam Racing in the 404. But just talk us about the race from your guys' perspectives, because obviously we saw you guys pretty much at the sharp end for Indianapolis. And Silverstone, it hasn't gotten quite that well either, has it?
Well, good evening, first of all. It's nice to speak to you again. It was an interesting one. Indianapolis, like you say, we were sort of near the front, and if anything, actually, these 2 races feel really similar. I think we had better pace at Indianapolis, especially in qualifying. I think we were only 3/10 off pole, whereas yesterday was a bit more. But the races actually had a really similar tone, which was we were in second place at the start for about the first 2 hours, and then we had a technical issue. So in Indianapolis, I had a big lag spike and lost goodness knows how many laps because of that. And then we fought back to 5th, and right towards the end of the race, we got 4th place. And today, again, we're in second place. We come in for a driver swap, and I think maybe some confusion with the new UI or something strange happened, and the driver swap didn't happen. And Lee, who started the race and did the first 2 hours, was still in the car. So he went round again and tried to get Henrik in the car, and same again. It didn't accept any driver swaps. So third time round, I managed to get in the car this time. I think it was just a bit of working out how it works with the new UI. Once we got it sussed, I was in the car and got Cora. We're back to 5th, and then towards the end of the race, we finally got 4th. When I think someone ran out of fuel, much like what happened in Indianapolis. So, yeah, very similar stories. The pace at Indianapolis was better, but if anything, this 4th place doesn't feel quite as painful because it was probably what we deserved on merit. I think even had there been no driver swap dramas, we probably would have been around 3rd or 4th anyway. So, yeah, I think once we get the technical glitches out of the way, hopefully it might be a bit smoother sailing, but time will tell. Time will tell.
Well, at least the good thing is you guys now have 4 weeks until the next round at Sebring. What's the thoughts ahead And is that a track that some of the guys, including yourself, actually like racing around at Sebring? It's not the easiest of tracks to circumnavigate. It's got a lot of different track surfaces as well, a lot of undulation, a lot of bumpiness as well, especially going through the final corner. Sebring is going to be a completely different challenge because we've had 3 different circuits that are they're not so similar, and you've got to always approach it with a different mentality for every single race.
That's right. I mean, for me, Sebring is, what do they call it, a bogey track. Mm-hmm. It's not one I've ever spent time to really learn and get my head around. I've not raced it too often. A couple of casual races here and there where you sort of know where the corners are, but you don't know how to get the best out of it. So, like you say, I've got 4 weeks, not only to make sure technical problems are all right, but also to learn Sebring and do as many races at Sebring as I possibly can to get my head around it. So, yeah. And it's an iconic GT track. It's iconic kind of endurance racing circuit. So it's great. It's on the calendar, and I've got to make sure that I'm up to speed. But I'm sure the rest of the guys know it a lot better than I am, so they're probably feeling a little bit more confident about it than I am. But that's just that's the way it goes. Sometimes some tracks, work towards you, some don't. So yeah, we'll have to see if we can go a little bit quicker than we did this weekend.
Well, Callum Wilson from Glam Racing, the 404, thank you very much for joining us. P4 in GT3 tonight. Look forward to seeing you guys in 4 weeks' time, Callum.
Yep, all right, take care, guys. Thanks for hosting.
Okay, next up, looks like we've got one of our combatants. You spoke with the Kimi Räikkönen last time of GTR 24H, but now we've got the driver that was racing against him, Andy Kirsten from DS Sim Racing Lab. Yusuf, all over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Honestly, I don't know where to start with this. I mean, obviously, Andy's one of the first person I ever interviewed here at GTR 24H, and I want to start off on a more positive note. Andy, last month we talked about Indianapolis, and you guys were fairly happy being able to secure that P3, and this week it all looks set for another good result. I mean, you ended up getting that P3, so at the end of the day, are you happy with the result? Are you happy to be able to take home the points?
Oh, hi, Yusuf. To be honest, it's mixed feelings. It's weird to say that I'm a bit disappointed with P3 because before the race, if we knew we were going to be at P3 at the end of the race, it would have been great. But of course, it's more than acceptable. Our expectations for the race were, we're hoping for somewhere in the top 5, and we got that. So, but of course, P2 was so close multiple times, and with their drive-through and everything, and the way it happened, it's a bit annoying, but yeah, overall quite happy actually.
Going into that final stint, we got to speak to Yannick, and we were talking about that final stint, and we were talking about how Pauli was closing in onto you, and we asked him what he thought, and I believe his words were to the effect, "It's fine, we've got Andy in the car." And you put up an absolutely fantastic battle, an absolutely insane defense. There was that one moment where it looked like he had got you once you had an incident with one of the cars that you were either lapping or had lapped you. He got down your inside, you managed to find the cutback. And I guess my question is, if it wasn't for that contact that happened into Stowe, do you think you could have kept him behind you, or do you think he had the pace to eventually find a way through?
First of all, they were insanely quick. I had so much pressure on me, so I don't know. I want to say 50-50. They might have gone past. Maybe not. I think the biggest thing is that if the incident hadn't happened and they still got the drive-through, then we possibly could have the P2. But to be fair, when I had an incident earlier on, seeing them being so close, I was kind of prepared to finish in P3. Kind of surprised that I actually managed to hold him up for so long. So it was some good battles. Really fun actually. Or not that fun, but exhausting.
I mean, now that we've had two races, I feel that you can no longer sit back and say, we're coming into this season and we just want to take it step by step. We've had 2 races. You've been on the podium both times. Be honest, what's the kind of realistic expectations going into Sebring and the rest of the season for you and the team?
Yeah, as you say, that's kind of a problem for us because we weren't expecting to be in this place, kind of as we weren't expecting to leading last year. So we are probably going to, put in some more practice. I don't know. I still think it's dangerous to aim for a podium finish overall in the season. I think we'll stick to the top 5. But of course, we will definitely hope and try our best to finish at the podium. Also, the 2 first races are circuits that we haven't raced on before, so the rest of the season we might have a bit of an advantage. It should also be noted that we were running a dry setup for this race, so everything considered, pretty well. Or pretty satisfied with the result. Hopefully we can do something on the other tracks that we know a bit better.
Awesome to hear, Andy, and best of luck to you and the rest of the team for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
All right, Alex, I think you've got Max Spooner from E-Team Brett.
Yeah, let's bring the team manager in. Max, good to see you take the last stint for the LMP2 Eureka car there. But a good effort from the team nonetheless, starting P27 overall, but actually finishing P8 in class, which nets the team its first points in 2021 here at GTR 24H. That must be a pretty satisfying feeling there.
It is. Sorry. Bloody time portion of cheesecake. It was very, very good. I think we took a gamble at the start of the race. We anticipated rain, and so we loaded the wet set onto the car. And for the start of the race, we did struggle. I think we fell back quite a bit. I think we were running around P13 in class, and then the rain came in, and we sort of stepped it up a gear, and car felt mega in those conditions. The boys did a great job as always, kept it clean, kept it consistent, and it was starting to get the result that I think we rightly deserved. I think we were unlucky at Indy, so to get points on the board today was sort of showing what we can do now.
I did have some messages from the sporting manager of E-Team Brit, James Hall. He mentioned that there was a bit of an incident. I think Matt Webb was behind the wheel and another LMP2 car was involved. I mean, do you think that could have possibly cost you guys the potential? We were talking in the interview before this race weekend, and you said that we might have an opportunity, maybe looking at a top 6 finish. But do you think that 7th was possibly on the cards had that incident with the other LMP2 car not happen?
Hard to say. I mean, the P7 car, it finished about a minute ahead of us. So I think it could have been on. There was a little bit of damage on the car, so it's an element of what might have been. But I think we've got to take the positives from this weekend. We've got a car that we're learning all the time, and we're only going to get faster. I would also would want to thank our partners as well, Brit Insurance, Texaco, Kausha Pressure Washers as well, because they've been a huge support for us all through last year, and we can't wait to be working with them again this year as we move forward into the next round at Sebring, which scarily is only 4 weeks away. We'll just crack on and hopefully get that top 6 that we think we can get. Hopefully all the weather will be more on our side as well.
Also good to hear from Bradley Brockies. The team were keeping upbeat despite what was being thrown at them in general. Reference the weather, reference any potential battles ahead, but it really, despite the fact that you've got 2 of the youngest drivers I think in the field, Sandro Ballesteros being just 13 years of age, Bradley Brockies is 16, that really just goes to show that the world of sim racing can really help youngsters ply their trade, and obviously with some of the some of the work that they've done respectively through other campaigns has really helped to push the team forward, hasn't it?
It is, and when you think that Bradley had only started sim racing back in April last year, to sort of see him now performing on this world stage is it's kind of a little bit surreal in a way. But yeah, as you say, learning their craft. through sim racing has been a big help for them, and just watching them develop has been a huge positive for us, and being able to trust them to put them in a car into an event of this caliber is a really big deal. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but the UK at the moment we're back in lockdown, and I think sim racing for them it's given them a project, something to do, something to focus on. So I think from the perspective of coping with their autism, I think this has been a huge benefit for them. And yeah, as I say, we go forward to Sebring now with more confidence that we can actually now pull off the results. We also got second at Daytona in the iRacing special event as well. So I think we're starting to demonstrate now these results are not flukes. These are based on genuine performance that we're putting out as a team.
Well, Max, congratulations to yourself, Bradley Brocky, Sandro Ballesteros, and Matt Webb, the four drivers in your crew, and also your sporting manager, James Hall. Congratulations on your first points finish here in GTR 24H, and we'll see you in 4 weeks' time.
Thanks, guys. See you in America.
Yeah, we go back stateside in 4 weeks' time. But I think we've got one last driver. Well, we might have two drivers. It seems like they're all jumping in. I think next up...
They heard me speaking Italian, that's why.
Possibly. Well, I think now looks like we've got Omicron Sim Racing's Thomas Garcia in with us at the moment. Do you want to take this one, or shall I?
I'm happy to take this. Ewan has given me some advice, and he recommended that I speak to Thomas Garcia. Thomas, I don't really know how to approach this interview, because on one hand I'm sure you're happy being able to take P2, but on the other hand a few laps down of PinSim Drillers Esports last month when we spoke to you, it was a good result from you. I mean, well, it was a good drive from you. It's a shame on how it ended, and maybe this month is kind of the other way around. What's the emotions in the camp?
No, we are happy, to be honest. We knew that we didn't have the pace for this weekend. We didn't have time to develop the setup properly, and we really struggled a lot with how the car felt with the tires, and we had to make the last minute decision to move to mediums. And yeah, basically nothing we could really do to fight against Drillers today. We were basically just trying to get the best out of the car, and considering that the rain came and it messed up with our plans a bit, we finished in the end 5 laps behind Drillers. But I believe that if the rain hadn't come, and if we didn't make as many mistakes as we made in some different situations on the race, we would have probably just ended 3 laps behind them. But yeah, in the end I think that the mood is happy on the team. We are happy to finish the race, which is something that we didn't do last time around, and that I wanted to do for this weekend. And yeah, just taking the points for the championship and moving forward.
I mean, you mentioned that rain coming down. What was it like, that transition period from the dry to the wet conditions?
Personally, I didn't drive there because I only got the drive at the start of the race, but from what I know from Patrick and Joseph, who actually drove on those situations, of course for Joseph, who got the car literally on the point where the track was making the transition, had a bit of trouble adapting to that at first, and once he adapted, he then had to face the fact that he was going to come back at the end of the race and find a track that was completely wet, which was completely different from what we had experienced on the first stint, and he just tried to do his best. We knew that at that point there is nothing we could do against Driller, so I just told him to just bring the car home, take it easy, and make sure that we could get to the line without doing a splash and dash. And he did that, and pretty happy with what he did. And Patrick, on the other hand, he got to experience the full wet track and the dry, and in the wet he just struggled a bit because the stint was way too long for him, and in the end he just complained about being a bit exhausted, but apart from that he felt really well.
Well, Thomas, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck in next week. I keep saying next week. Next month in Sebring.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next up we have a bit of a VIP. Alex, are you taking this one, or do you want me to?
Well, I think as you had the honours last time, do you want to make it 2 for 2 after?
I can. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, here he is, the number 66 of Pauli Ahonen. Yusuf, all yours once again, my friend.
Pauli, a good race from you. Why don't you just remind everyone where you were able to finish for Volante Racing?
I haven't checked the results, so I don't know.
You know, we've done so many interviews. I think like half the people have forgotten where they finished. At the end, towards the end of that race, you were involved in a really nice battle with some of the other cars, and you know, even with your teammate, the 67 car, was there ever a risk that you might drop down one further position?
Can you repeat? Sorry, I'm very tired.
No worries, I think we all are. Your teammate, the 67 car, wasn't too far away from you. Were you and your team ever scared that you might lose an extra position to your teammates?
No. I mean, they were driving a little bit slower, so I don't know how we could lose.
Good to hear the confidence coming in. Musto looked, you know, set to take that 1-2. And looking ahead to the rest of the season, do you think that you and Volante can take the challenge to them and maybe finish ahead of them in some races?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Okay, and looking forward to the rest of the season, is there any track in particular that you are excited for?
No, not really. Maybe Le Mans. Le Mans is always nice.
Okay, well, we'll be having that 24 hours at Le Mans as well. So double the race and you can feel extra tired as well. Pauli, thank you very much for joining us for an interview.
Once again, well, we've actually got one final interview. I think we nearly do really to wrap things up very shortly. But good to have with us the team manager of Juices Motorsport. A warm welcome to Nick Newcomb. Nick, you were messaging myself and you like crazy in the last few bits, but then when you told me about the sort of the chink in the armour that we found out about, you know, the Fair Racing team of Chris Gonzalez in the 334, where they'd only taken on fuel, I think you knew that P2 was definitely a distinct possibility.
That was good evening anyway. Great job today as well. Yeah, we knew it was on, but we didn't think we'd get 2. We thought we might get P3, but in the last 4 hours we clawed back 2 laps from when the race was dry. So just to do that was amazing. We were quite happy with 3, and then we saw the possibility that 2 was on. And you know, I knew the speed that they came out the pits on that last pit stop. Obviously, it was about 32 minutes to go, so the fuel fill was lower than ours because we pitted on 42 minutes and took a full fuel load. So there was a slight difference in the time there. So that's where they came out 3-4 seconds ahead, but turned quickly, closed the gap, and then it was just a matter of traffic that stopped the overtake happening. So you know, it sort of worked, but it was touch and go.
I need to ask you one question, Nick. When João Barbosa tried to throw it around the outside of Chris Gonzalez the first time through maggots, and he went off track, what was what were the first thoughts that were running through your head, apart from possibly needing
the move was on? It was done. The move was done, as far as I was concerned, and luckily where he went off, he was able to straight line and get back on track without much loss. But if you noticed a lap later, he made the exact same move. But this time, the position was given. So it was well deserved as far as I was concerned. But Chris did a pretty good job keeping João behind. But you know, I've known João for over 10 years, and that guy's a P2 fiend. He's just the last 2 or 3 seasons he's been concentrating on GTE, but I just dangle that P2 carrot in front of his face, and he always bites. He always comes. He's a great driver. Put him in any car, he's a great driver, and he's a great friend, and we're happy to have him, and I'm really pleased he's part of the Juices family.
Well, Nick, a big congratulations to the entire team. Will we hopefully see both cars back in action, the 74 GT, which was missing off the grid, obviously due to a lack of numbers, but also we'll see the LMP2 back at some
definitely. Yeah, we've got, well, that's the plan, hopefully. But obviously, there's a few cars busy. There's that much going on. If we can't really do what we can, like we did with the 15, we'll put more resources into the car. But hopefully that's the plan, get 74 back. But for sure the 15 is going to be strong again. The 2 young guns, Turn and Luca, both school children basically, and they become men tonight, I think, especially Turn. He showed his mettle. That would have pushed many a grown man to the limit, the way that he was being pushed for that last 16 or 17 minutes, and he's been told by everybody concerned within Juices that was one of the great drives, and he should be proud of himself.
Well, Nick, he's definitely earned, not just him, but also Luca. They both earned their stripes tonight at Juices. Thanks very much for talking to us, buddy. Really good to hear from you.
I do have a quick question for Nick that I wanted to bring.
For the newcomer, come on.
I have a question for the newcomer. This is actually going back to last month at Indianapolis, where you guys had that PC issue that caused you to drop down some laps. Now, there have been some rumours going about, I won't say who has started them, but there have been rumours going about that. Apparently, I sent faulty PC parts to you in order to create this scenario. Do you have anything you'd like to comment on these rumours?
Are the rumours? I didn't know there were rumours. I thought they were fact. Did they appear in the Sun or the Sunday Times? All right, that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. All right, guys, I've got to go.
All right, cheers, Nick. Thanks, Nick.
See you next time. See you next time, Milky Cereal. Bye bye.
Well, on that bombshell, I mean, Yusuf, that's been what a way to have that kind of joviality at the end of what's been an intense 13 plus hours, I think even longer than that for us here at GTR 24H for the Film Vault, 12 hours of Silverstone. Sebring, we get things underway with free practice at 8 p.m. Central European time on March the 4th. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? I think now we've got the first 2 races under the bag. Pin Sim Drillers Esports have secured 2 wins in Hypercar, 1 in LMP2. We've had the 53 Musto car win in GTE. Unison Racing 2 on the bounce. Story's still got to be told when we go to the Florida coast at Sebring International Raceway for round 3 in 4 weeks' time.
Oh yeah, of course, there's still so much to come in this championship, still so far to go. I mean, we talk about endurance races being long. I mean, this is still a long season as well, and we're barely at the 4-hour point of the season. So a lot to come. Also, Bart Slobodian, I see you in chat. I am looking forward to that interview in next month's race. We are going to hold you to that.
And let me just confirm it has been screenshotted, courtesy of Yusuf. But really, we've really got to close off the show now. A big thank you to everyone watching on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, Amazon Fire, Roku, and also Esports TV. A big thank you to everyone behind the scenes here at GTR 24H, every single team and competitor that has raced with us here at the Film Vault 12 Hours of Silverstone. We have to thank Film Vault themselves, based out of Derby, for their help in supporting and being the title sponsor of this round. A big thank you also to the remainder of the the commentary team, Ewan O'Leary, and also Neil as well. I keep on forgetting his surname now. Neil Hathey, isn't it? I think, if I remember correctly, but I don't know if I got it completely right there, Neil. My apologies. Also to John, Peter, and the whole team over in Denmark. Along my Heatley, thank you very much. Ewan O'Leary, who has been doing some some spotting for us in the meantime. On behalf of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Yusuf bin Suhail, this has been the Film Vault 12 Hours of Silverstone here on GTR 24H. We'll see you in 4 weeks' time at Sebring International Raceway. Good night.
The 2021 Endurance E-Racing World Championship Round 2, Film Vault 12 Hours of Silverstone, is brought to you in partnership with ESTV, Leak Gaming, SimLab, Motorvision.tv, Global Flix, Racing for Green, and AMD Ryzen Radeon.